Hello, everyone. I hope you all had a wonderful all-time high. Um, let's talk about that and why it's mildly questionable. So, what we do have here on the 8-hour chart is a very nice, clean upward expansion. Hooray! Look at this. Mid-July, we see our all-time high. What happens? Uh-oh, it enters mean reversion. What happens? We revert to the mean, right? Clean and simple. So, you have the start of a trend. You have a pivot to define where the trend is over, the trend ends. What do we have? We have a condition to say when trend can resume, right? When the red line turns green. Has the red line turned green? Nope, it hasn't. So what happens? You get a new upward push. And why does it fail? Well, because it's hard to start a new trend when you're in an active state of compression. That's it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. A few other points. Daily chart. We still have some clouding on our 3D wave PM. On our 4-hour chart, right, we do have this bubble here on top of our longest overexpanded period, which means we want to refine by going to the 2-hour chart, right? Match our indicators to have the cleanest results by pairing a time frame. Right, so we're going to manually define. This is interesting. We actually have a bit of converse expansion happening here on the lower time frames, right? Because you have a very clean downward expansion, right? The price rapidly moves down. It generates its own longest overexpanded period. It mean reverts, and we try to re-expand multiple times before full compression takes effect. And what this does is it actually maintains the volatility overhead. So if you have repeated expansions pushing up into a wall, right, it strengthens the wall because you're exerting your potential energy, right? Uh, literally think about trying to push down a wall. And instead of giving it one really big push once you've gathered all your strength, you instead gave it a bunch of little tiny pushes. Why would you do that? You're wasting your potential energy. So literally, if Bitcoin just did this and then spiked up, it would probably have a better run. But instead, we're just confirming a condition of lateral trading and relative exhaustion. So that's why this failed. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty interesting ways to see how these indicators tell the story. Let's take a look at your live stream questions. BRET USDT, BRETT USDT. What do we have here? Okay, daily doesn't have data. Let's do the 8-hour. Should be cleaner. 8-hour chart. Wow. Okay. You do have relative compression, so there is potential energy stored in this. You just don't have implied direction at this time. Okay, next up, let's check out Ethereum. FPTC. Hooray! This is great. Do you remember the last thing I said in the last live stream? Go ahead and watch my last live stream. What we said was we had a very cleanly defined longest overexpanded period. Price could bounce off that. What could you do? You could write it up. What's happened? Look at this pivot. Wow. Okay. So because you should be holding Ethereum right now, let's talk about a take profit. Is there any way to define that? Not cleanly. This is a beautiful run up, but gaining strength, but we don't have. Okay, we have one thing, and that is trend definition. Right? Clean. This is our pivot for trend. Stay above this, you don't sell. Okay, that's it. 1.25 standard deviation on the 200 period, on the 8-hour chart. Right? Stay above the line, stay in Bitcoin. Link. We talked about Link last time too, was maybe just playing at 20 to 1. How's that doing? How is that doing? Nope. So this one actually did see mean inversion, and you would have stopped out. And we see immediate re-expansion above the pivot. All right, that's unusual. That's not what you would expect to happen. Which implies there's a lot of force behind this move, which matches current volume. This is nice. I just don't see a way to play it. Because you have a really simple, clean, matter-of-fact mean inversion. And this immediate re-expansion is improbable because we're above that pivot point. So we have no way to define this new trend. Yep, I don't see a way to play this because we are defining our current volatility based on prior volatility. So even though that this is a greater move than this, we have defined this level of volatility as the norm. And because this is the norm based on our 100 candle look back, this move, which is greater, is considered less significant than the prior move, right? Because it's relative. Because it's relative, this longest overexpanded period is running into volatility overhead, right? Because this should not expand above the prior readings of what should be defined as exhausted. And we can manually define that, or we go to the 4-hour chart, do it here, right? Let's set up that 120 period. Let's add a Bollinger Band to the chart. Bollinger. Just give me. No, that's not a Bollinger Band. This is a Bollinger Band. Thank you. Right? How are we defining this Bollinger Band? Based on the 120, 1.25 standard deviation. Okay, there's a way to play this. We are above the trending line. I find it improbable we'll see another leg up, and if we do, I would guess it fails at the next bounce. So either this mean reverts or goes up and then down. Next up, H bar. This is an active mean reversion. Okay, it had its leg up, it bounced nicely, and now it's mean reverting. If we have a swing high to this value in the next few days, you can short that. Do note the condition will be expiring soon. So it's possible that when this 320 period turns green, it can do whatever it wants. So no implied direction. other than sideways and slightly towards the mean, which can either happen by going sideways or by going down to the mean, or by going up and then down to the mean, or when this expires, it can do a loop-de-loop. It's up to the chart. Railgun. Okay. I don't know what that is. Rail gun. Yep. Nope. Absolutely not. There we go. This looks low volume. Um, I just, yeah, yeah, this is not anything. The volume's too low. These spikes, these candle closes, they're not clean. Okay, moving on. Um, Herbidoo wants me to look at a forex pair. I don't want to do that. I'm just not in the mood. Okay, fine, I'll do it. CHF Japanese yen. Mm, you have a clean expansion. You have an active mean inversion. If you can find a local swing high on a lower time frame, you can short that. Uh, yeah, honestly, if we were to pop up to 25.7, go ahead. Go ahead and short that. Generally speaking, your best bet on Forex pairings is the 15-minute chart. As the local moves are more volatile, you get much cleaner cycles of expansion and compression, right? Expansion, compression, expansion, compression. And then here we have converse expansion, which leads to noise. Here's nice, right? When you have a clean expansion, what happens when you mean revert? You get a clean mean inversion. So my recommendation is if you get yourself a clean upward expansion, wait for the mean inversion pivot. When it crosses it, sell. But do it over here. Right? If we see an upward trend, these higher values, then you do short-term bearish mean inversion and try to play it into a longer-term mean inversion. Okay, that's it for today's video. I hope you've all had a good time. I'll see you in a week. Bye-bye. Oh, if you're new here, join the Discord channel. We talk about this stuff. These indicators are cool. They do things, as you have seen. Goodbye.